Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
We'd like to welcome you back to the Keshe American Knowledge Team for May 29th, 2022. This is sort of a weekly meeting that we have among knowledge seekers in the public, where we discuss many aspects, new things going on in and around the foundation. I'm Mark Anderson, and I'll be joined shortly by Alex Gork, who will be bringing today's presentation, or what we call teaching, or what we call sharing of knowledge, which we can all learn from each other. And as we can see, there's many developments going on in the background of the Keshe Foundation, from the Linz workshops on Saturday, which I think will start next week, about making perfect ganzas, perfect magrevs, ceramic work, painting work, sculpturing work, and so on and so forth. Now, we've heard from Mr. Keshe that as of Monday, June 6th, the flight system or the training system will be open to anyone, and we'll cover that a little bit later. Even to Mr. Keshe is dealing with everything he's dealing with now. Of course, he has to deal with the universal community because they're a little bit uneasy about man being able to do some of the things that they can't do, and probably flying with the soul, or teaching us to fly with the soul, is one of them. Although he has been teaching them as well, but as he said so many times, if they knew how to fly with their soul, they wouldn't be in the UFO. So Mr. Keshe is dealing with many, many things. He's going to start coming into more of the language community public teaching. So we will see him in Africa. We'll see him in Brazil later today. And that's one of the reasons I thought we would try to end this meeting somewhere around, well, 7 p.m. No, it wouldn't be 7 p.m. I think the meeting in Brazil is 10 p.m. So, which would be 4 in New York. So we're going to try to end it there, and you can adjust your times. But I'm hoping we can all join in the Brazilian teaching that's coming up again at 10 p.m. CEST, which for me will be 2 hours and 45 minutes from now. I thought I'd go back to the one of the workshops where Mr. Keshe had shown the hummingbird and these change of colors, sort of in a hinting way of what the man can do, because we're not a physicality so much, we are a plasma. And I thought I'd show these little hummingbirds changing colors. This, I believe, was the 265th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which again, these are the things we're going to walk into when you walk into some of these systems. I know the universal body enhancement shells and systems will still be made, but also there's going to be something set up with just plasmatic fields where you walk into an area and apparently you go through a process, something similar to what this bird is doing. As he said, we're a plasma and our body can adjust or change its outlook, maybe not so much in the physicality, but he indicates whether this bird is doing it with its soul or with its emotions. And there's many emotions we're going to be learning about. And I think we know that emotion is energy in motion. Perhaps controlling these, there's so much I don't know. And we're approximating, but we're going to start to find out quite quickly as we hear from some of the people that have been processed through these systems. And I think we all will go through some, hopefully we can all go through some sort of processing. And again, he was talking about them being on the street, whether you could go in there for feeding. Maybe you want to travel from one part of this planet to another, or maybe you want to travel from one part of this planet to somewhere else in the universe and come back. There's a lot to know. He said we've just scratched the surface. Man has reached an evolution in science, I think he said, but in a primitive way. So we've got still a lot to learn. As we know, there's many steps in this ladder, thousands of steps, and I think there's probably thousands of steps in each sub-step. But maybe as we go through these systems and we learn things, and the soul will then be able to hold on to the things we have learned in these units as training systems in a way. And when we come back home, we will be able to do some of the things that we were taught. And it's sort of like having training wheels. And then once the training wheels are gone, the child will be able to, and maybe they'll stumble and fall and scrape their knee or some other things, but eventually, as the child keeps practicing, he'll be able to master the tricycle and then go into the bicycle and so on. And all of this is just going step by step by step by step. And of course, Mr. Keshe is a master at this. He knows how to teach and he knows how to deliver the teaching. But now it's up to us to become the captain of our own ships, and whatever you determine you'd like to do with that ship. And more and more going inside and inside and inside and closer to the Creator, as I see it. And again, everyone has a different understanding, a different point of view, and nobody's wrong. It's all how this knowledge touches you and what it means to you. So thank you all for joining today, and let's just go and see what Mr. Keshe was showing us here as far as just approximating the way this little bird, this little hummingbird, is able to change in a way its appearance. And I think this is what's going to happen to us as we go into these units once we're, again, balanced in the physicality, balanced in the soul of the man, and then balanced in the soul. Don't know how it's going to all proceed. If it's one chair with different energies put into that chair to balance the three, and then taking a flight somewhere, and then doing the same, coming back, balancing the soul of physicality, and then balancing the physicality, and then you'll probably be back in the matter state and exit the system. And this is just my thinking and what I'm imagining. But again, we don't know precisely. I think our souls know, but so far the soul isn't telling me exactly what's going to go on. But first we have to get to Lintz, and that's one of our obligations. He said it was very important. There'll be 10,000 hours of testing, which that means probably, if you divide it by 30-minute sessions, that's 20,000 sessions. So there's going to be more than one system there. I know he told John he's going to use his 10 units in the interim until we get some sort of agreement from the American government that they will not take this technology and weaponize it, which apparently not only our government, but every other government seems to have this tendency to want to weaponize this technology. But this technology is for peace and elevating the soul of the man into some sort of peaceful condition. But let's take 15 minutes here with Mr. Keshe, and then we will come back and see how Alex sits at that point. But this is from, again, the 265 Knowledge Seekers Workshop. just about 3 years ago. Over 3 years, I suppose. We're ready to begin. Okay, let's get our...
There is a number of these videos on the internet. So what happens? If you look at these birds, if you look at a man, we go shopping and we buy clothes. There are no shops for the birds to change clothes. They go through the evolution to fit the environment they're in, or what it needs to make them separate. When man goes to space, there are no supermarkets and nowhere that today I want to go with this fashion and that fashion. I presume after a few years we give up on clothing because they'll be in racks. And secondly, do we want to get to that space? Or do we become to train ourselves, to adapt ourselves? As I said many times, it's the man who has to decide his position and what he wants to see and what he wants to close his eyes to, and what he wants to see through the eye of the soul of the man. These will come to play a lot for us in a very near future. We are looking at the next steps of development. We are looking at a progressive development in the way that this technology will affect our daily lives and how we can do it. In part of our work, in the new products which come out of the Keshe Foundation development in conjunction with governments and other organizations and inside of the Keshe Foundation, you will see that we will affect everything every one of us does daily on this planet. We then have to decide how we're going to respond to the new conditions, which the application of technology will bring with it. We see the end of drugs. Drug and drug trafficking will come to a halt, not through Keshe Foundation, through the technologies we have developed. We see the end of addiction. We see the end of abuse of one's body through abuse of anything which you can get hooked on. But on the other hand, we'll see new ways through plasma technology which people will find peace. We see through the development of and test what we're talking about, these are the actual physical things which has been done, that the use of Keshe Foundation agricultural side as part of the medicine, where by consuming certain materials which is pre-designed by the what I call agriculturists, by farmers, will allow you to get rid of your diabetic, will allow you to get rid of your brain hemorrhage. These are in the progressive to come. Then at the same time, we can create, we are producing materials which can affect your emotion, that humanity steps down from this aggressive behavior. At the same time, we see the development, the new phase of the space technology, which is in lift and motion. The delivery of technologies which affects every man. Can you play this video? Or is it free?
Yes, we'll play it without the music, and that'll help. and it's a Creative Commons video that we're able to share. So yes, it's about a little over a minute long, and I'll probably replay it a couple of times.
Have a look at this bird, and then see, you decide, is it the soul of the bird, or how fast is it changing? Is it the light? Even, let's say, even if it's not real, is man going to be like this now that we understand the operation of the soul?
It is real, Mr. Keshe. There's a number of videos that are similar to this of the hummingbirds, and they're able to do it somehow.
Yes, this is what I brought up in the teaching yesterday, and this comes as part of our teaching. Do we see the physical change of color, or does this bird has managed to touch us through our soul? And if this bird can do such a thing, what about us? Now that we're understanding the operation of the soul of the man and the need, look at the color, black. I go to Africa, I want to be black, nobody knows I'm whiter than one of them, and I can live in the environment. I go to China, I want to look Chinese. I go to the beautiful land of Iran, I want to be suntanned and be able to enjoy the language. Can I, by changing my color, learn a new language automatically? Or I attach my soul to someone who speaks the language and I can speak? These are not fairy tales anymore. In the coming time, I start teaching how to progress, how to develop these things. I have started teaching the medical teams in new ways, effective ways for diseases. But at this moment of time, we are developing our people to understand. If this bird can switch color so fast, does it do it through his soul, or does it do it through his emotion? Does it need, there is something wrong here? Can you stop this, Rick? What is important is, if you freeze this picture, please. If you look, it's not just one part changes, many parts instantaneously change. The body color changes, the head color changes. If you look in some detail, the feature of the bird changes too. Is it camera? Is not. But now is the soul. This is the feature, it needs to be on this planet. The next phase is when it's on Mars, or when it's on Saturn. We have a very wrong understanding of the space flight. At this moment of time, no one has taken their clothes off of the spacesuit and traveled in space. Nobody has taken that plunge yet. But if we understand the process, can man do this? We are not a solid matter. We are dynamic. We are made of dynamic plasma. That, how long would it take us to change physically? We say we need oxygen to breathe, we need water to survive. But in plasma technology, we have shown we don't need oxygen. We need the energy to be transferred into our lungs, that it can keep the blood activated, that it can circulate. How fast would we mutate? Or are we always locked into this planet and into a spacesuit or a spaceship? Would the development of new space technology which is coming out on the back of the Iranian scientists, on the back of the Chinese scientists, on the back of the other scientists around the world, as we had the first time we tried, we were too naive and too scared. We sent the dog up first, and then we sent monkeys next. And I remember sitting in the back of the car in Tehran with the Tehran head of Space University. Says, we tried the monkeys and the rats, and they work. And I said to myself, and this is the question goes to all of us, now that we have opened the dimension of understanding of the work of the space through plasma technology, would we let a dog or a rat outside the spaceship and see how they survive? Would they survive? We haven't lost anything in the depth of space. Or does our soul take a new dimension and evolve immediately to respond to the space like this bird? The more we are moving in the dimensions of the space travel without the fuel, with space travel with position of the gravity and magnetic field, and we understand our own body is the galaxy itself. Have we had the fear of testing the space? Or do we need another Yuri Gagarin? Or do we need the first thing to test? We are afraid that we might freeze. We are afraid because we put something out, it might die. Sooner or later, space agencies will open its door. This will open our eyes to the capabilities of human body, to the capabilities of the conversion and evolution instantaneously to a different level of the strength of the soul of the man or the animal. This will show us if, like this bird, we can instantaneously change that we don't need to breathe. We are afraid if that string which is in that clothes we are attached to a space slab goes, what's going to happen to us? We haven't tried to see we can survive in the depths of the space. It will come. Somebody by accident, or something by accident, or space travelers will indicate that, will bring it out to us. And would we evolve so fast? Not changing the color, but the way we were born out of the beautiful womb of the mother, and we changed from a life of a fish inside the water of the womb to become an air breathing instantaneously. Would we evolve into the new dimension? Is our fear is holding us back? Or we need time to evolve gradually into the new space? The answer is yes. We will evolve instantaneously. Because the body of the man is dynamic. in plasma condition. When we lose our fear, then our soul of physicality, our physical dimension of the plasma will take over. We can create as much vacuum space as we like and put somebody inside, they explode, they expand. That would not happen in depth of space. Would we come to the point that we work through our soul, than the soul of physicality? Would our soul create a protection for the physical body to stay protected, that it doesn't need a suit? As we enter in a coming time, building the first international space group, we will have to handle this. In the next few months, in the first meetings of these space organizations, there is a need for the change.
Okay, so this was sort of a simple example, but again, the bird is more complex and understands how to do it. We see it with the cuttlefish, we see it with the chameleon, and we're often referred to as chameleons. Is it the emotions? Is it the soul? Again, I think we're going to be finding out more and more. I see a special guest has joined us. Mr. Keshe is here. I don't know if he'd just like to listen or come in for a time. At this point, we always give you the full floor when you arrive.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good evening. I came here as I promised, literally doing tour of all the foundation teachings, workshops and everything. Clarify a lot of things about what we announced. It is a radical change, and many of you will, in a way, enter unknown zone. You enter something which you do not know what will be. It's like a time of a birth, as I call it. Would the birth happen? And what will be born? What will be the outcome? We strive to open that and get rid of the fears. As we saw with the bird, how would we change? How would we perform? Do all these birds manage to change color? Or we never seen, we never watched that some of them lose the power of the change and stay permanently in the last time they changed? What happened when this bird dies? What's the last color is taken in the dimension of physicality? These are not anymore one day will be answered. That day has come. We have to answer. We have built the systems and we have to take that step, that giant leap to know the unknown. We were hoping to go to space with a rocket, and we hear maybe 6 out of 7 billion managed to get to space and go into the space lab, and you have to pass every test, and half of the tests are race related, and we have to have one Jew this time, an Arab guy hasn't been there, we have to get in, and the rest of it. This time is us. That time has come. And the reality is we have to be there. One of your knowledge seekers who we tested the system with about 2 years ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, sat with his mother and father, both dead, to resolve a matter that he could not resolve with them. As he explains, they were sitting as we see them in a normal condition, and he was talking to them and they were talking back, where the problem was, whatever he went through. So it's not that we are going to start something that might be another bracket science. We are opening the knowledge of the universe. And as he says, when he was sitting there, he could see himself in the dimension of physicality. He was aware of the position and time and the space with the mother and the father. He could not speak to his father during their lifetime as such. Now he could. We have seen with one of our knowledge seekers how the sequence of the change comes. And as I said to one of our the first 10 people who are coming in on Monday, you are part of the research team. Come in and tell us how you see and what needs to be done. And what is the change? Do you see the change? There's something which we have not explained fully. I think there's been a misunderstanding in the teachings of yesterday, is that we are not looking for 10 people. We are looking for all of you. Every day, 10 people will be going in through the system. Every time we open the space lab. And one of the problems which we have to overcome, we look at, if I go to Linz, I have to buy air ticket, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have to do that. And it goes back to what we said all the time. Our job is to give. Maybe you're too expensive to come to Linz and everything, that must be $5,000 or $10,000. But you can sponsor an American, you can sponsor a Nigerian, you can sponsor an Arab guy to go in. Because everything doesn't have to be me. And this is something we're trying to bring across. If it's you who wants to experience it, you're welcome. But as one of the knowledge seekers says, if we can find a sponsor, we need to collect the data on all races. On all races of the man. And in a coming time, we'll go through animal kingdom, a fish, a cat. And we have developed a very elaborate system in replicating a lot of things. We have never shown this system and we don't allow it to be photographed. There are reasons for it. You will not release this technology into public. It's a knowledge never been released, never been shown, and we will not allow it to be known for a time being, because we have to understand the limitations, the work, the principle of the work. Come to Linz. because we are openly inviting you, or appoint someone to come to take place to add to the knowledge. We increase the numbers to about 50 a day in the next month or so. Because the more data we collect, the more we understand, the more we see, the better we come in what you call it, putting the flight system in its final phase, and see who has traveled as well, who has come back, what they have brought back. Don't forget, we produce gold and other materials in the lab in Linz some years ago. We have developed technology now that we can convert anything which comes in the system. Try not to be selfish that if I cannot go, no, I don't want to do, appoint someone. If you can get in, you get in, but we need to build the numbers quite rapidly. And if we put the numbers together rapidly, we will be out of hand of the governments. The governments have not got hold of what is about to hit them. The implication and application of this technology is beyond imagination. We can put you into the office of a president, sitting face to face, asking for world peace. Putting a number of these machines in one room, we can deliver soldiers or saviors or rescue people in a given dimension and position. The implication of this technology now, which we have opened, stretches beyond anything man could imagine up to now. I was talking to a knowledge seeker, and you will hear this quite a lot in the coming time, and we spoke about it before. Past few days, and I was explaining to him that we put the cup and we put gases around it, and we put an orange and we take the taste of the orange. How does that taste come in? What happens if we change the salinity of the gases we put around the replication unit or different composition? Would that orange in the water will taste the same? But fundamentally, why do we taste that orange? One thing which most probably you have missed in the gathering of the knowledge is that you remember when you put two metals, when you produce gases, you produce the amino acid on the top layer. Do you remember when we asked you to create gases of gases? That you put gases and you could produce some of your gases, you still reproduced that amino acid on the top. You look for the taste of the orange in the water. I look for the taste of orange in that invisible amino acid layer on the top. If your mustache gets on the way of the water before you drink it, you will not taste orange in the water. Because you've taken amino acid out. You've taken the fields away. Or if the amino acid is in the process of being sunk into the bottom of the cup, you might just pick up a taste, part of the taste, part of the emotion. Now, I open your Pandora box, and most probably in the other teachings we opened it. So, Earth is that orange. And one planet has the combination of the ganses to replicate the ganses of the life of the dog. Another planet has the replication capability of a tree. One of the trees or a shrub or part of it, and then it develops itself. Another point in the universe, that orange, the Earth, can replicate, create condition of the creation of man. Then the question which all of you have to answer or understand is, Earth has been an ocean of water, composition of elements within it, and totality of every combination within bandwidth strength of a given strength of life. So what does this mean? Does it mean that having the guns of the oceans of the earth billions of years, has man been the cup, or earth has been the cup, and the man is a taste of that orange from another dimension which is replicated here? But because we have a diversity of the strength and composition of the materials of the ocean, as the dog has come from another dimension, and the tree from somewhere else in the universe. And is it why Earth has such a big diversity of life? Because its ocean have a diversity in gas production or field production that allows us to bring all the marvels of the universe to be replicated on this planet through the works of our oceans, through the work of our swamps, through the work of dynamic fields which clouds create above us. If you understand this, it becomes very simple how the reactors in the enhancement units work. If the dimension and fields of the replication of you exist on the moon, you will land on the moon. And if the dimension of the fields of another planetary system or another star exists that you can match to it, you will land in that place. But it's like what we call the jumping band. When you jump, you know you're going for a free fall, but you don't know how far deep you go. But the bungee jump road brings you back up to Earth, to the pole or to the bridge you locked yourself into. That pole, that bridge, you put your jumping rope on and you did the jump, is your physicality sitting in that machine. And if in any position you can create a condition because of your life physical dimension with the gravity of the earth, you can lift that machine out of its place to the destination and the position that where you want to be. These machines are set both ways, gravitational, magnetical, both for the physical dimension and for the soul. We want to see which one of you or which person who goes in will be able to do which one. The machines are marked on the floor. We know if it moves. We expect it to move. But the only thing we cannot do, we cannot shackle it to the ground, because the field of strength is in the what we call cosmic strength, and it doesn't make any difference. The machine is gone. But because you have a connection to Earth, we know you come back. We will see the process of the evolution as we prepare the plasma nodes, I call them the motions, getting ready to go in. On Thursday, we'll announce, and we announce it now, that most of the sessions will be live broadcast across the planet. We all watch the first people going into the systems. Would we see any effect? Would be change? 9 out of 10 will not feel any difference, or 9 out of the 10 feel totally emotionally going through the system and see the changes. Would we take that dive? And would, for example, one of our people, the first numbers going in, will take the system and land up in God knows the country, and his house says, what's this machine doing in my bedroom? Because he wanted to go home. Or we have to see, we are prepared to lose a number of vehicles. We have already, we are in mass production, and we are prepared to lose. And we are prepared to receive back. It's an open-ended technology. We have already people who have conditions who are coming in to see if the condition changes. We have people who booked in to come in as family. We want to know if any of you had a wish, you loved another color being and you always wanted to be black, white, or whatever, and would you change that color? And the end of it is what changes from June the 6th will bring to the knowledge of man. If we can feed you and you don't feel hungry for months to come, because we have triggered the absorption limits of your body that you take from the universe, you take from the space and time. Some of you might eat 3 times and 10 times more, because now you always wanted to be size 60 and you're size 20 and you don't like it, you're all bone and skin. And how many of you will go through a transition? I wanted a blue eye. My mom gave me a brown eye. And you come out of the system and you have blue eyes for the rest of your life. Or some of you don't feel anything at all. We try to explain what is to come. It's a huge change. We know a number of governments since yesterday have started making moves to find the limitation, the application and implication of this. What happened if one of the members of Universal Council comes into the machine and wishes to sit with the soul of one of the world leaders and change. Elevate that soul and bring the change. What about if some of you go in and decide, so beautiful that I don't want to return back to my physicality? Or I take the physicality with me. What is the fear of detachment from all of you who go into that system? This is a new knowledge. Is collection of all the things which we have taught over 30, 40 years. And I hope most of you have booked your way to go in. We have Americans who are flying in. I've been told we have people from different parts of Europe are walking in. We have people from different style of life are coming in to see if they can be that Mr. Armstrong, the first to break through the science and knowledge. And if they can break through science and knowledge, if one time is not enough for them to go for the next ones, one of the leading Keshe Foundation researchers is going in to see what it is, what needs to be done to be part of the whole structure to change if we need. When you come back in the dimension of the soul and physicality, we put you into what are called the compression plasma systems, which you go back as we're saying 3, 2, 1, that you get ready for a physical life. How many of you will prefer to stay in the state of the soul and control the dimension of physicality? We brought a knowledge beyond, far beyond what man could understand up to now and understood up to now. We were asked if you have a seat for two. What about if you go in and you come back with two? Would that seat be taken? So, it goes back to the point of how fast most of the knowledge is around the world can get in, or if you cannot get in, put somebody to get in, that we can complete this process. We give you a list of names of people who volunteer to be here, but they can't, or they like to have a black or African or a Asian or a Chinese to go through the system. We need a full spectrum. We don't need all Americans because they have money to come in. We don't want all one lot because they could afford it. We take 10 per day because we want to understand it. It's not just a fun fair to go in and come out and goodbye. I'll be there personally, going through case by case, what happened, what it is, what you felt. I was there case by case when we build the systems. We will live broadcast the system. And how many people around the world will rush to be there because the first one came out, said something, and they want to be part of it. or we pass the enthusiasm and sit and think and do the proper job from the beginning. When you look at this bird, is, as I said, as we saw with Corona, people change to black and the rest. How many of you go in the machine and come out different color, different shape? Because use is how you want it, and your soul is satisfying your soul of physicality. Or nothing happens. As I said, I taught for years, and now this is the ultimate position, that you always answer a machine. Be prepared, you step by step, the enhancement you need, the vertical unit. And we didn't let any of you to go in because we kept on developing. Now is a collection of the body enhancement unit, material enhancement unit, vertical enhancement unit, horizontal enhancement unit. All that knowledge is in one machine. You wanted enhancement units for your cancer. You wanted the material enhancement unit to make gold and see how many of you will come back with a handful of gold. You wanted the vertical unit to transmute and transport. You wanted the horizontal unit to extend part of your length of whatever. And you wanted a vision unit to see how much you can affect or change the dimension of the vision of the man. All has been put into one unit. And all will be brought into that understanding of the unit, how it will work. How many of you will become a better man going inside when you come out? How many of you become detached? How many of you will increase the dimension of understanding of the languages of the world? You speak 20 languages when you come out. We don't know. It's you who's the captain, and we're there just providing what I call the flight unit. And I invite you to join in. I came here to deliver this, and now I have delivered. There'll be more extension to it. Why do you want to fly the physicality when you can send the soul and then add the physicality to it? You're in the machine 1 second, and then you call mom and dad from New York, says, Mom, I'm in New York with my brother. How did you get there in a few seconds? You left home today. I can come back. Either way, whatever I've taught you over years, now is delivered. The maglev units, the enhancement units, the marvel of the ganses, the marvel of the cosmic rays, and understanding of the space motion. And I hope you'll enjoy the trip. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer. But from now on, it's the questions you have to answer for yourself.
Hi, Mr. Keshe. I have a question about qualifications. I had cataract surgery and I had the silicone acrylic lenses put in my eyes, would that keep me from going
No.
into the machine?
The only thing we suggest is people with metal parts, hip replacements, if your, what I call, the skeleton has been in any shape or form tied up with metals or plates in the back, if you have valves, if you have, we have not seen any effect on dental dentures or implants. And we have excluded that because it's part of not being in process. We still learn what they might do if you're going to get a toothache, if you come out, or you have a new tooth grown. We watch everything. But we are a space technology development. We are mainly interested in transportation and transmutation. And what happened in that process we do is for you to tell us. We're not here to cure you from diseases. We are here to create a new space development, and that's a consequence of what happens in between is what you come in for. And we will live broadcast on the 6th. As you know, the television station center of the Keshe Foundation is in it, so all the equipment for recording and transmission, all the cameras and the lights, everything is there. And we see what we can report, we see what we can put on live, we see if people will allow us to show while they go through the emotion of the system, because I've seen it. The number of knowledge seekers who has sat in the system and within seconds they have felt the change. Most probably on camera we watch you. Most probably the only part which will not record or allowed to be recorded is when you enter into the machines. That's what I call the place where you have to be left on your own with yourself. There are 2 units in, and units are set in different ways. We want to know which one's more in line with which of the races, which of the conditions, which wishes, and which whatever. There's a number of questionnaires given to you before and after. This is the responsibility and knowledge you to bring that change. Because the implication of it is huge. And no organization has ever had the knowledge to do it. We have it, we worked on it. All of you have built pieces of it. Any other question?
Good evening, sir. This is Galip from Holland. Hello to everyone as well. I hope you can hear me well.
We always that shows well. Yes, Carrie.
I have a few things wondering, but of course, as you say, I shouldn't ask everything. My soul knows it. But one very physical thing is that for some reason, I cannot get any emails from the store at this moment. So
Why?
when I have ordered 3 tickets, but I don't know if I get chosen
Wait,
or
is it you, your brother and sister?
yeah, it's one is my real sister, like my family sister, and one is my close friend. And
I was told about you coming in. We don't answer anything till Monday, Tuesday.
yeah, I know. No, yes, I know. I was just saying that I cannot get, I cannot sign in, so that's why
What do you mean you cannot sign in?
Well, I at the day when I was trying to get the tickets, my password didn't work, so that's probably my mistake. But then I made a new account and I know the password, and I cannot sign in
Well,
with
it
the.
doesn't need an account. It's a straightforward purchase.
Okay, that I
The only thing is
regard.
if you made a purchase and there's an email sent, there's a link there. Just fill in the form.
Yeah, I didn't get any email. That's the thing.
What do you mean? Send email or receive email from us?
I cannot receive from you, so I say forgotten
Nothing has been
password.
sent. Nothing has been sent. Nothing will be done till Monday, Tuesday.
Yes, the reason why I say this, but it's maybe I'm just being too paranoid, but because I know I have an account with these emails because I have ordered in the past, I've gotten emails in the past, but now I click on forgotten password and nothing
It
happens.
shouldn't
So
be. I'll check immediately with the webmasters, with what they call IT people. It
thank
should
you. I
be a
don't want to bother you,
straightforward.
but
No, it's good for you to tell us. There should be no reason for you not to send, because most of the payment comes through systems. We don't see who's the sender.
yes,
We need to see it, but in the store it gets done. I'll ask the, what do you call it, the IT people how it works, because it's not something I'm involved in. I don't understand it. But
thank you.
I'm sure you'll get the response back.
Yes, yes.
If you have made the payment, then the team is very, very active. I know about, because I was looking for, I asked this morning from the team, they said there's a booking form 3 because we were looking for brothers and sisters. We're trying to bring different combinations on the first day, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Husband and
Yes.
wives,
Yeah.
father and son, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was told we're looking at the structure, how it works. We are allocating in a way that all 10 don't go together. You go at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that we can follow the process, the first people. And then we go through the next one. There's a preparation, there is a going through the flight system, and then what I call plasmatic condition to put back in the reversal.
Yes.
We will inform you what time is your time. We don't want people there on top of things, especially the first day, until we hand over to our people who will, what do you call it, monitor the whole work. Data you bring back for us after going through the process, from the first time you sit in the chair, number 1, till you sit back on the other side on chair number 1, we want to know the whole process.
Yes.
How you felt, how you did, what interaction you see, did you feel anything? Where we need to bring changes in, what adjustments is needed to be made for which races and what condition. And we are preparing everything for it to be done in a very elaborate way. But you will see the first, and then in the second day, we are putting 2 people through the system at a time. The first day is 1 person at a time through the system. Second day, we are putting 2 different people at the same time in a reverse position to see what happened when we have 2 crafts, because there are literally 2 crafts next to each other. How do they interact? How can we create separation? How do we see the interactions? And then gradually we put 2 and 2 people at a time by the end of the week, which means we get 4 people into the system. 4 people that don't know each other, 4 people are related to each other, to see how well we have established the process of the control, that only one becomes the captain and the rest of it.
Mr. Keshe, hi, Galib, if you go to the store, you don't need to sign in. It must be something you're doing wrong, because I just went in there, you just add whatever you want, and then you check out. Because I can sign in, but I went and I did it without signing in. You go to the shop, and then you go to the program, you just click on it, and you put how many sessions you want, and you go to check out. And you say, I agree with all the information, and just go to.
Yeah. Well, if at this point, the people and the beautiful people, the knowledge seekers, have known about me, then I don't want to pollute the system. So I don't think there is a need to do it again. And
we'll
as
check.
for,
I'll get the IT people to come back to you tonight.
thank you so much.
Okay, I'll
And-
get my IT people, because we are monitoring how the applications are coming in, and we choosing the first 10 that fits into what we want, and then every day we'll take 10 people in the first week. Second week we take 20 people a day. And
Mr. Keshe, it still is the 30 minutes if you increase the number?
yes, we've done this in China. We know exactly how it works.
I was wondering one more thing, if I may.
Yeah, let me explain something to you.
Sure.
We are adding 2 units every 2 weeks or so into the structure. And we have access to facility to increase to 1,000 units within the same building. You've been to Lynn Center, you've seen it. We can extend into the whole of the shopping center, adding 2 and 3 numbers into the whole structure. And Keshe Foundation has built a manufacturing production line. We have assembly and production line. We know how many units per week or per month at the moment we can put out.
Mr. Keshe, do we decide if I want to go and sit alone, or I want to go with somebody else, or you decide?
You decide. We have at the moment 2-seater.
Because you said you want to test the 4 people, so if 4 people don't agree to go in together, so it's going to be an issue.
We leave it. No, we have people like the gentleman just spoke, booking in with the sisters, or a father and mother and a child. Everybody's booking their own way. You have to be over 18. We don't allow anybody under 18. And
why is that, Mr. Keshe?
it's legal consent. We just do the things the way it's got to be done.
But if the parents wanted the children to come in, you won't allow it?
No, we cannot. It's a legality. No. For the time being.
Mr. Keshe, I have another problem. I need to get a hold of someone in IT because I'm having a hard time making payments or receiving credit for payments on the store website.
I'll ask them to, let me just, I've got the keys up. Just 1 second. I have to make a note. You cannot make or
The options that are given don't accommodate my needs.
what is your need?
Well, it says PayPal or bank transfer. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make a bank transfer and it's a wire transfer. And there's no information given as to where
For
to
the wire.
transfer to. Yeah, yes. I actually sent the money now to a previous address that Klaus gave me. But I have now no way of connecting that now to my order.
We'll look into it. We'll look into it immediately, no problem.
It's happened several times, and I was just thinking if the system was streamlined, then it would work every time, and I wouldn't have to bother someone about it.
No, we have different banking and payment systems. Some people are still paying directly to the foundation in Holland, but we transfer the funds and we allocate it. Some people are still going to the old PayPal of the Keshe Foundation. We still do the transfer of it. We look at it. If you made a payment, I'll check it straight away. I'll pass it on after this to IT, because after this I'm going to the Brazilian teaching.
Yeah, because before it took months before anything happened, and repeated phone calls to Klaus, and I don't really want to bother him.
No, if you made a payment, we had a very big problem for 3-4 years to streamline the Keshe Foundation internally. Now it's totally streamlined. As much as we have managed, we brought a lot of things in, and thanks to the Iranian team, they brought us a lot of support with the IT. We're working there. Some help we need, we get from them. We have a very good structure now in Linz. Before we used to wait for, nobody knew where the orders go and things used to get lost everywhere between China and everywhere else. Now everything goes through Austria. We have a dispatch section with people working in there full time, a number of people, and we have solved most of the problem. Unless there is something in product range, what do you call?
It's a website issue. Like in the website, it says to report that you have paid, go to a certain thing, to your personal profile and put it in there, but there's nothing under personal profile where you can put that information.
Let me get this checked for you very fast.
Okay.
Mr. Keshe, with the money transfer, there is information about the bank is right there, but she has to go when it says donate. When it comes, the bank information comes. So all you need to do is take a picture of that information on there, go to your bank, and then with that information you can transfer the wire. Once you transfer that,
you don't need to do that. You can do it online. You don't need
to. Where do I send the picture? That's the question.
Yeah, let me speak to IT after this and let me see what comes up, because the IT team works. So I know they're working on a lot of things in the background with this process.
Yeah, another thing I was going to offer was to do some corrections on the text, like in the store. There's some errors in there, and like German.
Please do.
Where do I send it?
Send it to info@keshe.foundation.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a title of, even with your payments, send an information to info@keshe.foundation. This email is monitored on a daily basis or a couple of day basis, and we keep a very close tap on it.
Okay, good.
Send it there.
I sent one before and it took 2 years to get an answer.
So that was the past. That was those.
Okay, wonderful.
No,
thank you so much.
Yeah. We are on the verge of a lot of developments. There's a lot of work getting done, and we are very, very open about it. We got battered and beaten by millions of dollars in past 3-4 years, which we invested from the investment to bring back the development, and we got robbed left, right, and center. And it was well planned by the people who were with us. Now we have brought that to a lot of control. We have increased the number of the employees in Linz to about 25, I think now. And it'll expand to about 100 in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
We have now, Keshe Foundation is literally changed in past 18 months. Now we have, we employ, I think about 25 now, and we are on the list to employ more people as the expansion is coming in. And a lot of past problems getting sorted. We are looking for good IT people who we can put on position, and it's getting sorted. It's the biggest problem we had. We had to draw a line in research and development and say, okay, this is it. We are not developing anymore. We finish the systems, and then again go another jump of development. As you've seen, as I said before, if you look at the enhancement unit, you see big, bulky units. Each one, I think, about 1.5 kilo. Now, in 2 years of research, you could have 10 machines out and then upgraded. We went for a total upgrade without delivering, and now the same job, 1,000 times more powerful, is done by less than 50 grand. It's a revolution in technology, and this takes time. And now we have a production line, we have assembly lines, and a lot of other things. We brought in a lot of good people, and it's just growth and teething. But now we brought a lot of things under control. If you want anything, send it to info, and then it gets sent to the people who are responsible to answer you, or if it needs to be sorted. Info at Keshe.Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Even send a copy of your payment to info at Keshe Foundation. So I made this payment to this account, and that's it. They can follow it. And if you want to sponsor somebody else from another race, we'll find them in Austria. You tell us you want an Iranian to sponsor, you want to find Chinese to sponsor. There are many knowledge seekers in different races in Austria. We can ask them to join us in. And they, in a way, you adopt a child in Africa, you adopt somebody to go through the process in what do you call it, in development and understanding. Any other question?
If I may, so regardless of if we get not chosen for the first day, we were planning, and if it becomes...
Let me explain to you. I can't pronounce you. How do you spell your surname? Gedik?
Gedik, yes, Gedik.
Mr. Gedik, I personally have asked you three to become as part of the first day. You should be in Linz on Monday the 6th.
Yes, sir, of course. I hope so.
We have, if you have made your payment and it's there, because we don't see it till tomorrow when the bank's open. I personally went through the list, and they told me you booked once for yourself and once for a sister and a brother or something. I said, we need this, because we want to see what's the connection between brother and sister. How you come from the same strand of genes. So you're quite welcome. You've been, I personally intervened in your case and 2 other people. So you don't need to worry. We give you what time which one of you can come in, or maybe we can put you and your sister at the same time through separate and then back together through the same double system.
You know better. I was going to say we're open to do everything that you see fit. I'm
there personally, for the first few days, and then we go through the next step and see what we do. But you personally, you and your sister, I thought it was another person, your brother, if I didn't remember.
I said a brother, and I said my sister, but I guess maybe I shouldn't have written that way. But
yeah, so that's why I chose you to come in. You're 100% in for the first day.
I see. It's an honor beyond what I can express. And my second small question was, maybe you've heard, but recently I've been elected at my school as something what we call the Universal Student Council.
You are the Turkish guy.
Yes.
Yes.
I
met you. Oh, I forgot your name. I met you with the new Universal Council member for the Dutch. What's his name?
Is it Dennis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
He's applied and is an accepted Universal Council member. He'll join the council in the next couple of weeks.
Beautiful.
You are. That's fantastic. We'll see you on, what do you call it, on 6th.
Yes. And I can bring an Instagram account with me?
Pardon?
I can bring my school's Instagram account with me, or should I make that later?
What do you mean?
Well, my school has an Instagram account, and I was going to ask if I could take over that account on that day, because I applied as the Universal Student Council on the website. So as part of my school as well.
That you have to discuss with the Keshe Foundation. Did you apply to become the Universal Council for Turkish language?
Well, I was born in the Netherlands, where we have Dutch and English as the languages. So I cannot become Turkish Universal Council, but maybe what you told me about the Dutch-Turkish one.
Do you speak Turkish? You speak Turkish?
Yes.
I explained to you, you can become the Universal Council for, because you asked, you want to do it as a student, you don't need to do it as an apply for it, because I know I spoke with the Keshe Foundation regarding your case, and you don't need to go as a student. You can apply for the Turkish language in the Universal Council for Netherlands or outside. The way Stefania is doing it, she lives in England, but she brings the Italians from Italy. You can apply for it, because I know the Turkish position has been vacated, so you should have no problem with it. But I don't know if they have more applications from Turkey or Turkish language and which country. We'll see you on Monday.
Yes.
And that'll be fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Now I know who you are.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Very much. I spend a lot of time talking to different members of the Keshe Foundation around the world, more or less every day. And it's just, it's not a 9-to-5 job, it's 24 hours job. And we meet with different groups and different people in what is needed to be done for the foundation in different structures and cultures. Any other question? Azar, have you applied to be here?
No, Mr. Keshe, not yet.
You're still in Mexico?
No, I'm not in Mexico, but do you want me to be there?
No, I don't ask anyone to do anything, because I know usually you jump.
Because I just came from Mexico, and then I have to work because then there's not going to be any money.
I understand. No problem.
Because if I was just like, I was working and they didn't go to Mexico, probably I would have been there Sunday, just on Monday.
Oh, no problem. That's perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Are there any questions? Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Keshe. Earlier today, we were talking about all the logistics and the plane and the testing and so on. And Erm had suggested maybe we should sponsor someone. That's an option. And when you just mentioned that about sponsoring someone, and that's important too, I was seeing the picture of a captain on a ship, and the ship is in distress. And the captain makes sure that all the others get to safety first before he actually maybe exits the ship, even though eventually. Go ahead.
I said, unless you're a Greek captain, you jump out first before the pilot.
So I was thinking of eventually I'll get there, or it'll come to me, or if I could just appear in Linz, that would be great. But I think sponsoring someone maybe from somewhere where they probably would never get the funds to get there would be just as important. And I think you've confirmed that.
We have to collect the data in the totality of the knowledge of the this systems don't have any computer built in them that they can remember or data control. When you come into the system, you see it's actually a flight system. It's a working flight system. You don't see any control. But once you sit in, as I said, once you touch something, you create a link with. Once you sit in and connect to the system, the information of what you carry will become part of the system. The next person adds to it their information. When you put a magnet on the table, doesn't matter how many other magnets you put in it, it will make a connection and remember where the line has been to connect to who to where. It's the way the universe carries its memory bank. We replicated it. So we need to bring as many as possible. It'll be very interesting when I see the first entity from out of this planet who will go into the system and we see their true face. It'll be an amazing experience to see the other passengers of the universe with us.
Or bring them back, as you said, if they can.
They are with us. Maybe we'll get back, but they are with us. I'm sure some of them don't even know themselves. They've been here such a long time.
What about these 3 chair progress, where you said you start off in the chair of physicality, you move to the chair of the...
It's like you go, you know, when you go diving, you go through the compression chamber and the rest of it. It's the same system. We have to prepare the body for for being able to handle what is going into for.
So it's not that you're changing chairs, you're changing whatever field.
No. You have to wait 1 second. You have to wait 1 second. Just give me a second.
Yeah, take your time. No problem. We're learning more and more patience as you've been very patient on this planet for thousands of years.
I'm going to show you what you go into. The system all look the same. It's not something different. But the structure, the built-in is different. It's so strange. When you want it, you don't find it. Just let me see, where is it?
I see John has just joined us.
Hi, John. Let me see.
It was interesting. Alex has been working with these chairs and changing position of chairs, and he must have had an insider. His soul had some sort of insight with these moving chairs, but it's been brought
No,
up.
no, 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 no. You're not moving chairs. You are not moving chairs. You're not moving chairs. Just give me a chance. Maybe I've gone too far. I'm looking for something which I have on my picture page. I have to find it. You've seen it before, but I want to explain to you. We have set up um, 6 of these units. We call them Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. Each one looks the same from outside, but constructionally inside they're totally different. They're not the same. And each internal construction is set up for a given purpose. And
Are you trying to share a picture with us?
yes, I'm getting too old or blind. I can't see the picture I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm going up and down. We don't want to share something which we don't want to go public with. That's not a problem. Let me see. Yes, you have this one. You've seen this one. I'm going to share with you. What was? I missed it. I came back to it. We put 3 of these units on either side, entry and exit from what I call a flight system. The structure inside is totally different. And one is built to handle the dimension of physical life, the energies which are in physicality. Number 2 is set up to handle what we call the soul of the physicality. Number 3 is built to handle the soul of the man, which is a cosmic rays, which is a very advanced structure in what we call cosmic rays. And we take you through this process of going through you can see this picture.
We're just waiting for it. Yes.
You see this unit? It's a vision unit.
Yes.
These vision units are set in a specific way. And you have number 1, number 2, number 3. Each one carries a seat. You sit under it. One is set to handle the physicality. When you find a balance in physicality, we give you time. There's no 2 minutes. Then you go to second seat. till you find the time. Then you move to the third seed, which is for the soul of the man. In a way, we prepare all three that are in a working balance condition. And then you move into flight number 1 system, then flight number 2 system. And then when you come back out, you go to another set of 3 like this, but they are set on the other side, which you enter, because now you're coming from a condition of the what we call expansion of the soul, as you call it. You go into the soul system first, and then when you feel settled, you move into the chair with the soul of physicality. Then the last one is the physicality of the man energy. Then you come back to the condition as a man.
Is this part of the processing time, or is this something independent of the processing time?
No. It's part of the processing time. It's part of preparation. We cannot send you directly into the big systems. It's mayhem. This process takes 5 or 10 minutes. Depends on how people, find themselves. We built this system to go to Arizona, and with the situation we sit at the moment, in the limbo with negotiations. I told John we kept with us. So it's a building for us. We're using the systems which are Arizona systems. And what do you call it? Another 30 odd is in the process of getting manufactured and built to go to Arizona. And when you go into the flight systems are in totally 2 different settings. We want to know which setting fits, more appropriate for which job. Which setting, one setting is set for the physical takeoff, in a way a physical flight, one set up for the expansion of the soul. We want to know how people will respond to which one is more. If you don't want to go to moon and you want to be here, but you want to be able to expand the strength of the soul of the man, that you can become, to learn how to handle it, and then the rest of it which comes with it, we put you from then on into one system. If your target is to go to moon, you sit in another system. Everything is set up to go through it.
Very nice. And this is part of the way we're going to attract the attention of the world leaders and others to move away from the games.
On Saturday teaching, you might have heard something, you might have seen something, you might have not understood, but things happen in the background. President Xi of China was present online, and the CPC of China. Chinese military were online. Iranian leadership and Sepah were online. And one of you, somebody sent me a message, why did Iran suddenly today release immediately something about their defense system to distract what is to come? We know the members of the cabinets of the White House have been on it. If you listen to yesterday's teaching, our address, our security informed us Beijing is online, they're sitting with us. And if you listen to Wang, she says there are many people in. We were informed that the leadership of China is online, and I address His Excellency President Xi of China that we stay loyal to China for the confirmation of our work. We are very political. We know exactly what's happening in the background, that we stay correct. And if you listen to yesterday, I arrested the Iranian leadership because they were online exactly what they cannot do. And what did they do today? It's there. I received the confirmation. Iran has suddenly released the new aircrafts or whatever they want to show on military base. That they will not use the technology if it wasn't agreed with the Iranian parliament. Things don't happen coincidentally the day after or whatever. We said on the 3rd of December, on the 4th of December, drone was captured. I arrived back in Vienna, met with the Iranian officials at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Friday, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the Iranian delegation left because of the attempt on my life. And on Saturday, those who planned it were flattened out. It's got to be understood that we work within a framework and world leaders listen to what is going, because they understand what is to come. If you enter the system and you wish to sit with Putin, you can do so. But would you elevate his soul? That he'll withdraw or stop, or he'll come to another conclusion? That's your problem, not mine. If I sit with him, he will change. But I know the reason they are doing what they are doing. If I hit you, I become a criminal. If you hit yourself, you're crazy. Or you enjoy it. And if the Christians try to wipe each other out, it's their problem, how they do it. If we get involved, then we have something else to do with it. We've seen the Islamic world is trying to reach an agreement between Sunni and Shias in Baghdad. We soon will see some sort of agreement will come through the rest of the world, through the Christianity. And there is a reason for it. So let's see how and which one of you, what it does, what you feel, or you don't feel anything. Most probably people who come on the first day, we make an arrangement to, even they can go through the system twice to see the difference in the first or the second one. But we have to understand, we have to literally see the process. Do they feel the change? Don't they feel the change? When you sit in this enhancement vision enhancing unit, you feel it instantaneously. And then would you allow it to progress to the other parts and to develop the other parts? One of you in this room has been in it. And the emotion is instantaneously. We haven't done anything in the hiding or whatever, but we chose people who we go through the process to develop.
It would be so fantastic to see the government start to sponsor their own populations to go to LINS, or even start to bring the units into their own countries.
We don't need to, there is a problem. These are prototypes, I call them, even though we are mass producing. The point has to come when we don't need this physicality of this machine. I see it maybe a few months away. Now we have to embed the system inside this. But I see next coming time that we will see a collection of fields building the structure we're looking for. Very much like different part of the brain of the man.
It's like a godsend.
No, it's evolution in science. You see the chair is underneath the unit. When I tell you, you move from one chair to another, that white chair, that's a chair, plastic, is the chair which you sit in when you go through the process. It's a beautifully designed Italian chairs.
I mean,
Mr. Keshe.
I mean, a gift from the creator in so many ways.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Ed. Could you explain to us the benefits of going through the units more than once to sign up for more than one sessions?
It's not a benefit. We want to see what desires we can satisfy.
Well, is there a development process that you go through?
You go through the same system again as before.
Well, I meant internally, inside yourself.
That
each time.
you will tell us, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the first time you want to see what do you get out of it, you get nothing out of it. Maybe the second time you go with the sincerity, because you can't lie to your soul and not to the system. You want to see it with Mr. Putin. Or the third time you want to sort out the cancer in such and such a position in your body. The new units are even different than what you see here. They're designed to interact with the emotion of the body very much. Since we build this unit in front of you to what is you will see in the 6th of June, even the physicality is the same. I mean, it's the same shell. Inside, there's, I can say it's like 200 years of development and researching gone forward. Even in the past 6 months since we built the first of these as a prototype, we started. The systems built to go to John, if you say that third generation, now the technologies are the 5th and 6th generation, which is used in the flight systems. We had to draw a line because, as I said to our people, I moved away from the lab totally. Because every time I went in, we added something to it. I said, you know something, we never stop adding, changing and expanding. So I'm moving out till the units are finished, then I come back in, because otherwise we keep on going. And then now when the units are finished, the next generation we bring out maybe in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe in 3 months, whatever. It'll be again totally different structure. I have to teach as much as our team can understand what it does. Otherwise it becomes a fairy tale job. We have a microphone.
Ed, I'm going to close your microphone, Ed. Oh, you have it. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes.
It's John from Arizona.
How can I not know your voice? How are you, John?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks.
How are you feeling today? You're okay? Yes, John.
So the I'll call them joysticks, those little things hanging down.
What is hanging down here? There's nothing hanging down. You're not supposed to give a secret away, John, just because you know it. This system
So,
doesn't have those, but now you understand when we say. John more or less is aware of all the developments on daily basis. I try to keep him debriefed. So now you gave the cat away. So carry on.
so will the person that sits in the chair actually hang on to those joysticks and
You have to, yes.
and will he make a turn? You know, he sees something he likes in his travels and makes a turn with the joysticks.
You can do, but you don't. No. I don't understand what you're. No. Those two, what you call joysticks, what we call controls, is totally for different purpose.
So you don't move those around to go.
No.
Okay.
I'll explain to you in private what they're for.
Okay.
Okay. John is talking about what I call the 5th generation or 6th generation, because he gets debriefed on a full basis what we are doing. These systems you will see on next Monday carry 2 cables for a specific purpose that the participants have to hold when they enter the system.
Will there be one of the egg units that people will go into in lengths, or will these all be the freestyle ones?
What are you talking about now, John?
The body enhancement units, the egg.
You are not going into an egg.
So there'll be no eggs there within this system?
No. As I said, the new systems have no physical boundary. It's far more advanced than UFOs. When we give you the enhancement units, the white units, then you have a limitation of the filtering of the fields on the strength of the walls. As I said to you, that those enhancement units are like dinosaurs compared to the technology which is used today. It's, as I said, it's evolution in science and technology. We never shown, nobody has ever seen it. And the person who's here, if he wants to disclose what they felt when they went in, I'll leave it to them. How it affects directly. And this is in what we call previous generations, the very first generations. Now it has moved on. It's very, very, very sophisticated, very elaborate in trying to match into more or less 7 billion souls and remember all of it.
Well, I'll disclose that person he's talking about was me. I went into one of these units, and when I went into the unit, like he was saying, there was this immediate connection. I could feel it in my head, if you will. A sudden burst of, not burst, but a sudden energy field overcame me. Maybe overcame is the wrong word, but I could feel it in my head. Almost, I call it an energy headache, where all of a sudden you feel like you get an energy wave come over you, and it was like a connecting of my soul with the soul of this unit, and it had to find its balance. So as I sat there for the first 2 or 3 minutes, there was a balancing of the fields, and all of a sudden this bigger energy wave kind of died down to where it was, I'll say, balanced. The two systems were balanced. My energy field and its energy field became balanced. And at that point, I just kind of sat with it with no expectations or anything, to kind of see how it would interact with me, and what the reactions would be, within my physicality. It was interesting because even after I got out of the unit, I sent the unit my emotion of love and gratitude, and I could feel like the love and gratitude coming back to me. So there was this connection between the unit and me. So it's my thinking that even the people that, use the unit, that they'll be able to connect back with the unit if they desire to, after they leave Lens, because the connection is established. And as long as the unit's on and running, there's that connection that you'll have. So potentially, as we talked about the soul travel, you'll be able to travel. You'll be able to utilize soul travel without being in Lens if you're ready for it. And maybe Mr. Keshe can talk a little more on that if he wishes.
Now that you disclosed your position, do you remember when you sat in and I stood in front of you, how you felt between your soul and your soul of physicality, your heart?
There was it was a little bit like falling in love. Like there was emotionally, kind of the fluttering of the heart, that, you feel like, like you first fall in love, it's like you're kind of, your heart's racing, and, you feel, in love. So this kind of came, I'll say, 5 minutes after being in the machine. So first you have the balancing, then you have the the emotional connection with the heart, and at first, you're not really ready for it, and it kind of, because it's so powerful. I mean, it's not like a kiss on the cheek. It's a overwhelming, emotion of love, that just kind of overwhelms you initially. And then again, you balance, so it's like you start with the emotions of the energies in the head, and then it moves into the heart, and the heart finds its balance point. So it's like you balance the two of them, and then it's more like you're, I'll say, back to normal, but it's not really normal. It's like you're ready. It's like now you're ready.
And this is what we call the system number 1, which John has been on. Since John was sitting in this, the system for the soul and system for the soul of physicality is added on to. It is one of the most powerful systems man will ever know to know himself. John, do you remember the first few seconds when you sat in, what you felt emotionally? I watched you going through it.
So almost right away, you know, you could feel, so I kind of went in with a blank slate. I sat in the chair and almost emotional immediately. You got this overwhelming feeling of something's happening. In my head, I have this, you know, energy field that was, you know, almost like an energy headache, you know, because it's like initially it was a little bit, you know, it's like you could actually feel a headache in your top of your, you know, like you're coming down with a headache, but then it balanced out pretty quick. So within the first 5 minutes, you went from, actually first 2 minutes, you went from a lot of energy to a balancing of the fields to, you know, moving down into the heart area. So it kind of all happened very quickly. So you sat in a chair and all of a sudden you got, you know, you got a headache, you know, not a strong headache, but just that it was like you knew that something was going on in your head right away. And then, you know, it balanced out, you know, if you just sat with it and don't, you know, fear that, oh, this is too much, you know, you just sat with it and let it balance. Then it found its space and then, you know, moved into heart. And again, the heart had to find the balance. So it was like balancing one and then balancing the other.
Thank you very much, John. As I said, we work very close with John in development and everything else. And those of you who go through this process very rapidly find out exactly where you want to be, how you want to be, and how you want to change the time and the place and the position. Is there anything else you want to add, John?
No, I kind of, so after the initial 5-10 minutes of balancing, I kind of had my own personal agenda that I was targeting. So even before I sat down in the chair, I had my own desires, and I just kind of after everything was balanced, kind of focused on sitting in it with the energies of what it is that I wished and desired. So rather than trying to jump into travel right away or other things, it was allow the system to do its work, and then after you feel balanced, then to focus on why you came into the chair, what it is that you wished for. That was my approach. And, I don't know that all of my wishes have been, fulfilled, but it was a test for me. And I kind of sat and I moved around in the chair a little bit, kind of just see, okay, what does it do now? What does it do? Because, and maybe I'm disclosing too much, but if you turn in the chair sideways, it helps more with the eyes. So potentially, you improve your third eye if you were to move into a sideways position. I tried that also. I don't know that I can claim any results or anything from it, but I just tried it.
Thank you very much. Now, I think everybody knows how real these systems are. And we are just continuously developing. And when we reach the point of the star creation, magnetic field, plasma positioning in these systems, I see it maybe a few weeks, few months away, because our team have to understand it. Then we don't even need the enhancement units.
Can I say something, Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
This is Selena from Georgia. I can explain very good, but I want to explain my experience one day. I have soul traveled a lot of time, but that day was different. I was laying on the bed. I woke up early in the morning, but I'm laying in the bed. Suddenly, I felt I am inside something, like a spaceship. I don't want to say, but something. So, and I'm trying to lift it up, but I was laying in the bed, but I saw I am standing. There is no chair. I'm standing there, and I'm trying to lift it up. And then, but that time was a little bit darker, early in the morning, but I'm seeing very bright day outside. And then I lifted the thing like a third floor, and my body is like I was sleeping at the second floor. So when I woke up, so I'm watching the ceiling fan, and then I close my eye. So when I feel my body is lifted up, so I felt it is. I think it is in the touching the fan. So when I thought my body is touching the fan, then I felt my ship is is little bit, one side is going to the ground, is touching the ground, and then again I lift it, and then again it's touch when I thought about the fan, and then one side is going down. And when I moving the ship, I felt it is the.
Would you like to come and test it in the real structure?
I don't know the structure, but I am seeing the.
Oh, you don't? What I'm saying, would you like to come to Linz and see if you can reach that point?
I'm a housewife, you know. What
we are trying to do here is trying to explain that. Sorry, if you can close your microphone, please. What we're trying to explain is for man to understand that he can expand the soul of the man, the fields of his own existence, we call the soul, beyond the boundary of the physical life, even though we still see with the dimension of physicality within the physical body. I speak about this in a very different way sometimes. It's like being in a submarine. When a submarine is out on the surface of the water, we stand on the deck and we see with the eye. When we submerge the submarine in the water, we become, it's like a physicality being submerged in the soul. We extend the soul, that the physicality goes inside. Then we take out the telescopes, or what they call it. There's a name for it in naval bases.
Periscope.
Periscope. Yeah. And we take the periscope and we look out again to see what's happening outside the surface. This is what's going to happen to what we try to do in this technology. Yeah, that's submarine, but the water is inside. But now once we go in, the water takes over, and you want to still see what's happening in the dimension of physicality, or you create the sonic waves and see, feel what is going on, what you could imagine be outside. Is the extension and expansion of the fields. And that's the beauty of it.
Should I explain a little bit more?
No, please, because we are here for a different purpose, if you don't mind. The whole purpose is, please find your way to LINS, because we need to collect as much data as much as possible, or sponsor someone. We try to gather the data as fast as possible, that our flight systems sit within the structure that we can fly the soul, or we can extend the soul. The soul decides in the interaction with others. And then when the soul does, the concrete, the basement, the building has no limitation because it works in different dimension. Or in another system, fly the system, say where it lands. If you take our system, we'll bring you back to it. We need to bring it back. But has the capability, is a dual capability. And we would like you to be there and bring as many people as possible, that we connect with all the souls of the mankind and with any kind of being on this planet. And I'm sure 100% we will see creatures of the universe with us. And we can extend the knowledge, and we bring it in. And when we tell you we've done a lot of work, a lot of knowledge seekers are working with us in the background in a very quiet way, as you heard now John disclosed. He came all the way from the United States to here to test, to be in it. And we have done the same with many, many knowledge seekers. It is our job to share the knowledge freely and to everyone. And how it'll evolve and develop is on the knowledge seekers. And how, what you bring with it. How the members of Universal Council will bring this knowledge to be shared amongst the man and beyond. Up to now, as members of Universal Council, we always looked at, you'll be in touch with the others from in the Universal community to get something. Now you have realized you become to give something, because the crown of the knowledge of the creation has been given to the man as of now. You will understand what I have given you to as a knowledge. There is no material in the world which can pay for such a beautiful knowledge. It's just, I hope mankind uses it wisely for peace and creation of peace on this planet and the rest of the universe. Thank you very much. I have to get ready. I've got to go to the Brazilian team. And hopefully we'll be able to carry more knowledge when we are together. If there's any question, I'll try to answer very quickly.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Nikolai. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for today. This is gorgeous. I have one question, and it is, are these systems creating essentially a library of the human? And my question is, in regard to the beings that have implants in the body, metal and so on, will there be a point when the system has acquired enough knowledge in its library that it can also accommodate those beings who have had implants and understand the difference?
I understand what you're talking about, but you have to understand we should have no limitation in materials or no materials. It's just to be protective, just to not to create anything which can go wrong. Because the implants is the interaction of the two totally different materials, the bone and the metal, and the bone, if it expands or the metal expands, can create havoc. That's all.
Yeah, thank you very much. I understand. My question was only related to myself in this regard. I have 2 shoulder surgeries, and in the time that I had the 2 shoulder surgeries is when I found Keshe Foundation, when I was sitting on the couch for 2 years watching videos. So for me, it's a funny, funny moment.
Titanium, is it titanium joints?
I believe so. Titanium little pins, and they stretched the labrum back onto.
It's not a full shoulder titanium replacement.
No, just small little anchor points.
No, I don't think there'll be any problem.
Beautiful.
Well,
I look forward to. I'm in Arizona now, so I would be very happy to look forward to seeing these units arrive in United States and with John.
Wish that your leaders come to their senses, or somebody in these machines have to do that.
Very well. I will put the wish in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me be here. And hopefully we meet again soon in teachings and others. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Well, I think we're all like to continue this meeting with the Brazilian team, which is coming up in about 25 minutes or so. Alex, are you like to give us a suggestion, or how would you like to proceed?
I think my subject matter has been covered in full, and I think I will take my presentation and archive it.
Good.
And want to. This is quite the event. It's hard to put words to it, and maybe we'll find some words months and years down the road, because people will ask where you were when it happened. And so this is a historic moment. And we were all here. So I'm very grateful for that. And as per usual, the warm-up act doesn't follow the start before. So I'm going to thank everyone for allowing me to present this, how shall we say it, emotionally. And hand it back over to you, Mark. And we'll
yes, and I was just
next time.
Thank you, Alex. I was just saying that they weren't going to be showing it live, but he said we will be showing it, and we won't show the people getting into the system for whatever reason. Maybe he'll explain that later. But every day people will be processed. And if this is a public viewing, which I would imagine it will be, I think the attraction is going to be phenomenal, and eventually leading up to 1,000 units in Linz he was talking about. So beautifully, thank you for all of you who've donated and dedicated the units, as John had 10. I know you were waiting for those, and Erm has sent one as well. But John, I wanted to ask you, was that the emotion of completeness that you felt, in a way that you had found something that you were yearning for your entire lifetime? Did that approximate that emotion of a sensation of completeness?
I wouldn't put it like that for me. You know, this again was a first time trying to understand what it was that was going to, you know, all of this was brand new. So my mind was, you know, kind of in other areas, but, you know, initially, you know, I could feel that, you know, it was kind of overwhelming of the balancing of the energies first. And once that happened, you know, at that point, you know, I could more or less interact with the machine, the unit, with the emotions. I don't know that I'd call it a completeness, though. It was, you know, it was a balance.
Yes, you mentioned balance.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And you just went through the first chair. Is that what I heard,
Well,
Mr.
at
Keshe?
the time I went through, there wasn't these chairs. This was one of the initial, I'll say, prototypes. So this was generation, you know, 1. Since then, he's done some more things to improve it. And each one of these units can be kind of set up to do different things. I don't know the unit that I sat in, what it was set up to do. But I know the feelings and emotions that I got from it. Whether the chair that I sat in was, you know, a unit for the soul or a unit for the physicality, or which, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. So, yeah, it was interesting.
And what did he say? Did I hear him correctly, that he said in the next few months we may not even need these systems?
Well, I think everybody's pretty aware by now that there's major changes coming to this Earth plane, and you know exactly how it happens, you know, is still up for, you know, discussion. But we are going to, as a society, go through, you know, a major upgrading, and a lot of that will happen without, you know, the one answer isn't these units. These units are just a piece of the puzzle. So people that don't even go into these units will have some, you know, when these upgrades, you know, start to really take effect, then all of us will be different.
Yeah, I'm seeing it like we'll be able just to tap into these fields perhaps at will, when we desire, if we know they're there, if we start realizing they're there or want to tap into them, we'll be able to. It's almost like, as you said, a new wind is blowing over this planet that we'll have, in a way, an access to it.
Exactly. If you think about, you know, maybe the universe is creating these environments that will have the ability to tap into. And just like when I sat down in the chair and found my balance points, maybe the universe is creating that environment where everybody will find these balance points within their soul and their heart and their, emotions.
Beautiful. And even being able to sit with world leaders or cross with world leaders. I just put in the chat one of the links where you can join on Zoom the Brazilian meeting, which is coming up. Oh, thank you, Jefferson. He just put in the 3 links. Well, that means you're 3 times ahead of me. But anyway, that's going to start in about 20 minutes. Would anyone else like to bring anything else? I know there were a few questions that we didn't get to ask Mr. Keshe. We thank him so much. As you said, Alex, he's quite a phenomenal way to have people attend the meeting and to hear what this being, this creator has to deliver for us. I mean, again, I can't even believe in a way that this, I believe it, of course, but it's just, it's amazing that it's happening at this, or starting to happen, or has been in the process of happening. As he said, he's been working on these systems for thousands of years, or 1,000 years at least.
John, would you have any insight in, say, we're in the vision unit, we make our way to Lens, we're in the vision unit. Our wish would be to be in front of President Biden and or Kamala Harris. Does their soul have to accept our soul for that to happen? Do you know anything as far as the actual logistics of how that happens, or can you just be there?
Think of us as like light bulbs. And when we're a bright light bulb, then we light up the room, and everybody in the room gets to see the light. So it doesn't mean that they react to the light and they, accept the light, but the light is there nonetheless. So, we do that when we send our, our thoughts and our prayers to, people we love, and or people that we hate, or people that we, know that they need, the elevation of their soul. We do that because our thoughts are energy. So every time we send our thoughts, and you can think of it like a light bulb, if our thoughts and our emotions are strong enough, we can create an impact. When we go through these units, what we're doing is we're strengthening the muscles of our emotions and our light quotient. So we have the ability, before maybe our thoughts were not strong enough or focused enough, and these units allow us to strengthen our muscles, if you will.
Yes, he talked about, he mentioned that word embed yesterday. So I think we will be able to embed in a way ourselves, or are next to that soul, or around that soul, or even across the table from that soul. And maybe they won't even see us, but we'd have some sort of profound effect. Maybe they think they just figured it out themselves, or that peace all of a sudden becomes a great idea, or working with the leaders that they haven't been able to talk to. All of a sudden it starts to become something that they believe in themselves and create a new position.
So that's a good analogy, Mark. And the other thing to add into that is this word of detachment. So it's you turn a light on, and then you don't claim the light. You just turn it on.
Yes. Yes, as he's always said, this knowledge doesn't belong to us.
The unit is us, our body, and our soul. We are the unit.
Yes.
I would love
I'd
to ask John something if while he's here. Is there any tips that I can share with my other people as well? And for myself, I should always continue to try to elevate my soul further, and expand my understanding of totality. At the same time, is there some practical tips, small tips that we can do to, and also for the upcoming knowledge seekers in the future, that to prepare?
You know, I always talk about the three things that are important to me and the people, you know, what you're doing on this earth plane is you're remembering your reason for being here. And if you focus on your thoughts, your words, and your actions, to always make sure that they're pure and correct, then you're gonna win 90% of the battle. So as you in your daily life, as you come across these aggravations that show up, whether it's, you know, some news that you read or whatever, don't empower that news to create the fear or the energies that are detrimental to not only your field but the field of those around you. So as you hear news that, you know, something happens that you're very disheartened by, be the observer. Don't charge that with, you know, your emotions of hate or emotions of you know, disgust or whatever. Be neutral and you know, where you can keep your vibrations high where everything's good rather than everything's bad. That would be my, you know, my thoughts. Maybe others have you know, tips and stuff to help, you know, move you forward. But that's, you know, I'm not the end all be all, you know.
Well, thank you.
You don't want to be a guru, John?
I'm sorry?
I said you don't want to be a guru?
I'm not the guru.
Let me say, Mark. Go ahead, John. I'll let you finish.
I'm just going to say that those are just practical things that I think a lot of the people know, and we talk and we, you know, expound on, but we don't live them. And that's what we have to do, is we have to live them. You know, every day, every hour, every minute.
One thing that I've noticed is, maybe it's not, I shouldn't say notice, but that could be the truth for me in the past, was that I notice a limit of amount of love I can have, and that changes from time to time. So sometimes I can imagine or connect the love to more souls, I think, and I'm trying to find it's like stairs. It's like Bitcoin going up, and it always goes a bit down, but at the end it always goes up more. So I do recognize this stair pattern upwards from time to time, and hopefully it will remain this way. And we were talking about, I don't know if it's the time, but in the past weeks we were talking about making the hemoglobin of zinc. Well, when you put like a CO2 box, and I've noticed with this is like the strongest way of, no, I should say thus far for me, and trying to maintain this atmosphere where I'm at a more balanced love. And I just wanted to ask if you know like how to connect this system, because I've been trying to figure it out, but maybe that's not the point, that there is a perfect connection, just like the pursuit of understanding it. I think if I recognize that's the biggest part of the expansion of, can we say it that way? I mean, I know this is like making hemoglobin of ZNO is probably very, like not even level 1 by far, but.
I want to say something in here. I don't know everybody will get it or not, but I want to try a little bit. We think we are a single body, like one person, and we are trying to connect other. In my life, I had a lot of experience about I am in other body too. I have different kinds of body. I am living other places too. So I know I saw myself in the water, under the water. I saw myself in the sky, in the cloud, and other human body, sometimes child, sometimes man, sometimes woman. So I know. I don't think, I know I live in other body too. So as a human being, if I live in other body and I'm here too, so we have other part. This nature, this art made by us, we are all over the place. Our part is all over the place. Our soul is everywhere. So when we hurt other person, when we think bad for other people, or when we do bad thing to our animal, we are hurting us. We are harming us. We are one. We'll know, someday we'll know everything is one. But the spiritual leaders say we are one, but we don't understand. But now I understand when I saw myself in other body. So if I saw myself in other body, other places, so everybody is the same thing. You have your part too somewhere. Maybe when we are eating some animal, maybe that soul is maybe coming from me or somebody close to me. So when I thought those kinds of saw those kinds of stuff, I was so sad few years. Now I receive those normal way, but now I understand everything is us. So that way we can't hurt. We don't need to. We can harm other people. We are harming us. I forgot the question. No, that is the point.
Yes, right. Can the eye say to the toe, I don't need you, or vice versa? No, it's all part of the same structure. Anna, you have the links here that I guess you joined a little late. Jefferson had put the links in there. So why don't we take a 7-minute intermission? It looks like the Brazilian, for those who can join, starts in about 7 minutes. So we'll take a brief intermission, and then for those who can join, please feel free. I'm sure there'll be some translating, but Mr. Keshe will be speaking in English, I would assume. So we'll be able to hear exactly for those who are the English speakers, and the others, I think it could be translated. I'm not sure exactly of the setup here.
Before we go there, Mark, what I'd like to say is during this Saturday night meeting, I felt an immense energy shift within my soul and body just from the energy of the meeting. I can just imagine what it's going to be like to go to Linz.
Yes, Mitra is moving these fields. Her presence is here, and the fields are also here, and I think we'll be able to access very easily. And that's what that new tomorrow video says, that every entity will be able to move between these dimensions. So it's all going to get worked out very, very beautifully, I'm sure, and we're all a part of it. And again, just to help the others move into the same understanding. That's what we're doing here. So thank you all for joining today. Anyone else want to make any brief comment before we close?
Just want to thank you for your dependability, Mark.
All of us.
And thank everyone for being here. And I hope you're all enjoying this trip, because it's a wonderful trip. And stay tuned for the next exciting episode. So please take over the screen, Mark, and sign us out.
Okay, very well. Let me just say this has been the, I thought I had the screen there for a minute. Okay, this has been the Keshe American Knowledge Team for May 29th, 2022. You can all go, but I am going to play the final disclaimer just for official purposes. That a lot was spoken here in many different ways, but I think the disclaimer absolves us from any sort of infractions or anything like that. So we'll play this and then the meeting will end. Thank you all again for attending, and hope to see you in Brazil in just a few minutes.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.